Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Try it again. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That final town hall. Final one. I know. We could arrange a reunion town hall in your own cities. You could in the laundry group. Right. Let's. Thanks for coming in today. Some important information that's going to be passed over, and the young lady to do that is the wonderful Naomi. Everybody, Naomi. Good morning.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning to everybody, and thank you very much for being here. We kept the tradition and left it at 9 a.m. I do apologize for that. But before we get into the serious stuff, I first and foremost want to extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for this amazing journey. You have been our amazing guests on board, which no longer even feel like guests, but much more like family and close friends who are still with us on this extraordinary adventure. Your enthusiasm and curiosity, as well as your kindness, has made this journey for all of us truly unforgettable. We have shared countless memories of wonder, laughter, and exploration together, and we will all be forever grateful. I would be amiss if I do not recognize our incredible crew, staff, my deepest appreciation for all of their tireless efforts, dedication, and passion that they have delivered to this journey. They turned this project of labor of love, and their hard work created a sense of community and belonging among all of us. They have made my project that I joined for more than 2.5 years ago something into so much easier to fulfill. As we start a homecoming journey together, we take with us friendships and bonds that we have formed along the way, and many of these connections will last a lifetime, and we will always treasure the moments and the memories we created along the journey. Unfortunately now, I do have to share some of the realities of what's coming our way as we're starting the last 2 weeks of our homecoming journey. But I hope that the marvelous journey that we have together will continue till the very last moments. So thank you to everybody, my family, my friends, and all our fellow travelers. So let's get to some serious business. Today we're going to touch base truly on our last 2 weeks on board. And I want to share with you all the formalities that are coming our way, but also some of the joyous occasions that we're planning for you. So we'll first start touching base on Canada, New York. We will build some of the luggage information in between, or some of our homecoming celebrations, and then our arrival into Miami. I ask of you that if you do have questions, please hold on to them to the end. Hopefully we touch base on everything that you want to know and need to know within the presentation. But at the end, we will have the assistance of Sheena and Kat to go around to ensure that we capture those questions that are needed. So, first arrival is St. John's, Newfoundland, where we will now arrive tomorrow. For everybody that has filled out their Canadian customs forms and have already submitted them, thank you very much. This is much needed for us to be able to clear the ship. For those that are still secretly holding on to them, please make sure that we have them this morning because it's holding up our clearance documentation. There are some people that have been identified that will need to be seen by our Canadian immigration team. They will be receiving a separate letter. If you do not receive a letter or notification from our team, do not worry, you are not required for a face-to-face immigration check. The For those of our Canadian guests on board that are now secretly celebrating a little bit that we're also going to Halifax, because that gives them an opportunity to get some of their items home quicker. We do have an update for you. If you wish to take any of your items off, either in St. John's or in Halifax, we need to know today. We need to know the details on it, and you need to come and identify yourself through guest services. Either Chiara or Michelle will be in touch with you on the further details. Everything needs to be presented tomorrow in St. John's. Whether you want to take it off in St. John's or in Halifax does not matter. If it does not get declared tomorrow, it is not getting off in either of the ports. That's specifically for our Canadians. So, Canada should be fairly simple for the majority of our guests on board, as long as you have filled out your customs form. Then we get to a little bit more of a complicated part, and that's New York. We have the privilege of being in New York, for 2 days. When we arrive on September 3rd, everybody on board will require to go through immigration, and it's a face-to-face immigration off the ship. This process will start approximately 7:30, and as our World Cruise guests will be very well aware, immigration is not always there on the time that they initially say. Sometimes they show up early, sometimes they're a little bit later. So please listen to the announcements. As soon as we are able to start, we will start the immigration process. I will note that once the immigration process starts and you proceed off the ship, you are unable to reboard until everybody completes the process. So if you are not intending to go into the city or have a tour or anything like that, and are intending to reboard the ship upon completion, plan yourself accordingly. Don't run off the ship at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 in the morning thinking, oh, it's out of the way, I can be back, because that's not the case. Now I know that some of you are planning to take some of your luggages off the ship, and we really appreciate that planning and that foresight. However, anybody that wishes to take anything off the ship, whether it's taking it home, shipping it through luggage forward, I'll touch base on that in a minute, or other purposes, please be aware that needs to happen in the morning on the 3rd. This happens at the same time as the immigration process. There is no availability after the immigration process is completed to take any luggage off the ship. So we anticipate that process to be completed around 9:30, 10 o'clock, hopefully. So if you say, oh, I was planning to take items off the ship at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, that's no longer an availability. If you intend to take luggages, large luggages, items to ship, anything off the ship in New York, this has to happen on September 3rd in the morning. For those that have the plan to do an overnight stay in New York and have a backpack with some overnight goodies in it, that's not a problem. But anything larger needs to come off in the morning. That also means that on September 4th, there is no luggage goods can leave the ship. And please, everybody, be back at 1:30 in the afternoon, because we really want you to come along with us to Bermuda. So, having said that, you will be receiving a letter today as well, or for those that want to capture this right now, by all means, go right ahead. The letter will come to your room as well today. This is for those that have the intention to take luggage off the ship in New York. we want to know who wants to do it. And I already appreciated, and we had a survey go out a little while ago with some indications on how much luggage do you think you have, who wants to take things off in New York, how many do you think you're going to take off in Miami. That really helped us for our planning purposes. Now we want to help you in New York. Initially, we had no allowance to provide assistance. With some renegotiations, the Port of Manhattan is able to provide us the assistance. So our housekeeping team will pick up luggage left outside of the staterooms the night before on September 2nd. Anything that you want to take off the ship in New York and need assistance with needs to be outside of the stateroom before 11 p.m. For those of you that would like to make use of this, please do us a favor and submit the quantities that we can anticipate. You will also then receive from our guest services team special luggage tags that we ask of you to put on the luggage so we can help identify it. You will see the key tag popping up because this will help and ensure that we have an easy identification when we go through the process. So the luggage will meet you outside in New York. Now I want to call some caution because I realized that some of you might have shopped a little heavier than you anticipated. So we are seeing some people making attempts to pack things in cardboard boxes. We will make every effort to help you identify cardboard boxes. We do not have any pre-approved shipping boxes on board. We've received that question. I just want to make sure that we're advising you beforehand. We do not have any FedEx boxes, UPS boxes, or anything like that on board to assist you with. Cardboard boxes, if they're being put out in the corridor, cannot exceed 25 pounds because they do not have handles for our crew to lift. So we need to be aware that we don't overpack them and make them too heavy to lift out of the corridors. The contents are not protected and secured. They go through a rigorous process to get products off the ship, as well as the luggage trolleys that are being handled on the pier, and weather permitting. If there is rain or a storm or anything coming in, they are not necessarily fully protected as contents are in a suitcase or in a duffel bag or anything like that. So please be aware of it. Also, we are made aware that customs might ask for them to be opened. So if you're fully wrapping them, please make sure that you bring wrapping paper or wrapping tape back outside because they might ask you to open them and unseal them for inspection and then have to wrap them all over again. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of this situation. We will make every effort to get everything off the ship. So luggage forward. So we send everybody, all of our World Cruise guests, a letter about luggage forward. In the morning, before we knew that we had a storm coming in. So the moment we send the letter to you about our incoming storm and a change in itinerary, we also picked up the phone to luggage forward and said, we have a little issue. If you're standing on the pier on the 31st in St. John, we're not going to be there. So they have agreed to join us in St. John's on the 29th. So they will be here as of the 29th to start answering all of your questions. However, we kept the question and answer session with them in the safari still on the 31st. We will start opening their desk hours earlier, already as of August 30th. And the desk will be located in the back by the entrance of the safari, where the pool tables are. There's 2 desks opposite. Our representative Julia will be sitting there to help and assist with any questions that you might have. We will mirror the desk hours that were listed initially for September 1st, for the 30th and the 31st, and she will have the presentation. Luggage forward can still take bookings for New York for those that wish to take that route, this deadline was extended upon our request for those that are now identifying that need. So please come and join us. If you have any questions for them, they are the better people to explain this service. So the donation box, based on the success that we had on segment 2 and going into segment 3, the donation box has returned. This time around, it's going to involve a few more ships within the fleet because the destination that has been identified is Labadie, Haiti. I'm sure that many of you are, as our world cruisers and our frequent cruisers, are very well aware of our efforts that we're putting forward in Haiti through our Labadie site. We will gather all the items that you are donating for this, and then through our sister ships, it will be routed that way. I do not know the exact arrival time yet. As many of you might know, the site has been closed for some time, but we are looking at a reopening date, and then we will work with our sister ships to get the donations there. However, we do ask that nothing is donated from a liquid, medication, makeup and skincare, or food and snacks within that donation box. This will not allow us to transfer these items over. Now, on the other hand, we're getting a lot of questions in regards to crew donations and what can we share and give to the crew. So what we will do in the same conference room where the donation box is, we will set up a table where crew donations can be placed. I know that many of you have reached out to your stateroom attendants, as well as the front of the house team members that you are in contact with, willing and able to give anything that does no longer fit in the suitcases. So I just wanted to clarify some things that can go to the crew donations so that the crew do not feel awkward having to tell you yes or no if you offer something to them. So for the crew donations, we suggest that you place it in the conference room as well if you wish it to reach some of the other crew that you might not necessarily see on a daily basis. For crew donations, what is allowed is closed toiletries, closed, unused, unopened food items, or any of the unused products that would contain a seal. No medication at any given moment of time can be received within the conference room. If there is anybody that says, oh, I purchased too much wine around the world and I want to give a bottle to anybody, the manager needs to be approached. No alcohol can be given directly to the crew. We are also very much aware that there's storage shelf, packing cubes, hangers, shoe shelves, you name it, floating around on the ship. And that you are very interested to share this richness with some of our crew members. We ask that you bring those to the conference room as well. As you might understand, the crew cabin configurations are very different, and we will assess and evaluate what can and cannot be shared with some of our crew to make sure that cabins stay safe. For some of those donations, we will share it with the crew members that are under restrictions for going ashore. Unfortunately, some of our crew will face restrictions when we are entering certain ports and will not be able to shop for personal care items, etc., as well as when our crew members arrive on board and face lost luggage. So just so you're aware of what happens with the items if you do ask about it. So that is for our donation boxes and making sure that you don't make your luggage too heavy on your way home if you don't wish to do so. So some of the fun part, homecoming celebration. We gave you a little snippet of what's coming our way, and soon you will get a very detailed calendar with times and places, etc. But I wanted to share one of them that's coming up because it might take a little bit of thinking through on what you wanted to fill in, submit, and if you want to participate in this. So one of them was the homecoming celebration of Memory Lane, the Ultimate World Cruise Edition, where today you will receive the card for submit your favorite memory. We're doing a memory lane. You will be able to submit it either handwritten, but Joff would prefer if you don't handwrite it because he does not think that most people's handwriting is still in a good condition after this length of time. So there's also a QR code on that form, and if you submit it through the QR code, don't worry dropping the form back at guest services. For those that do not wish to do the QR code, by all means fill in the form and drop it at guest services. But we wanted to give you an idea of what the thought behind it is. We want to do a memory lane of some of your best memories along the way. And I wanted to share one of mine. This was Walvis Bay, Namibia. We had the good fortune, actually, Philip and myself were invited on one of the shore excursions to go on the 4x4 Jeep ride where the desert meets the ocean. And during that ride, they all of a sudden said, "Hey, do you want to go dune sledding?" And there were 5 of us within that group that said, "Sure." Loved the ride. It didn't last very long. Loved it. 3 days later, I still had sand in my eyes. But this was me after the dune sledding. So those are the type of things that we hope that we can share with several of the executives that are joining, that we can reminisce all together. And please feel free, if you use the QR code, to submit a memory, and you can also submit a picture. But I wanted to share one of mine. Then the next one that has come up several times, and this is interesting because several things have been pointed out around the ship saying, "Oh, does that go up for auction? Can I take that home?" So we listened to you, and as you are all very much aware, we are in partnership with Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we have put together, especially for our World Cruise guests only, a Make-A-Wish auction with items from our World Cruise and unique components that you will have identified with all along this journey. So once you receive your detailed invitation with all the events that are put together for our World Cruise guests, you will see our Make-A-Wish auction. And I hope you come and join us, even if it's not to bid on items, but just to see for the fun parts that we have come up with of what we think are the fun memorabilia along the way. So then we come to the part that I think none of us want to talk about. But I do have to share this. So, preparation for our arrival into Miami. On September 6th, our guest services team will be sharing with you your arrival, departure details, so the arrival into Miami, the details, and your luggage tags, for those of you that still have luggage on board. Some might not. I know some of you will only walk off after New York, but. So what we ask for you to do is take a moment somewhere in between all the celebrations and memory making that we have going on, is to verify your departure details. We are putting all the details together based on the information that you have provided us, based on the departure manifest that we have for those that are flying through the bookings from Royal Caribbean. We know that we have several of you that decided to have rental cars to go home because you're much closer to the port. You're not necessarily far away from a flight standpoint. We have several of you that are hopping on another ship because you still don't want to deal with your own dishes or cooking. So we don't necessarily know what everybody is doing at the right time. So we're putting the groups together and we are assigning you the departure time. Make sure you double check, make sure that it suits your plan and that we have not misinterpreted your departures. If we got it wrong, please come and see us so that we can change your luggage tags, that we have enough of your number of luggage tags, and that we are distributing you the right way. Once we sail from Bermuda, and we know that everybody is finalizing their packing, some of you might become a little tight for space. Our lovely housekeeping team will make an exception for these last few days. Remember how we said we will store one piece of luggage for you, but it has to be completely empty? We will make an exception that we can take one piece of luggage per stateroom. Unfortunately, it can only be one, packed. And we will take it out of your stateroom. But this can only start as of the 7th. So that will be either on the first or second sea day after Bermuda or on Coco Cay Day. Then we essentially will have 2 departure groups once we get to Miami. For clarity, we will start picking up all of the luggage the night before. We will start asking you to put out your luggage into the corridor, and we know that the corridors might fill up quickly. But our housekeeping team will continuously run throughout the night to start collecting luggage. Our goal is to have it out of there as quickly as possible. We ask that no more luggage goes out after midnight, 1 a.m. at the latest, but we also understand that there's a lot going on that day. We will start monitoring the corridors from an earlier time than usual. So if you feel that you're ready to put things outside, by all means, start putting things outside or give your stateroom attendants a heads up. We do ask to not start putting things outside before 6, correct? Before 8, sorry. This is why the entire team is here today, to make sure that I stay truthful, because there's a lot going on. So then, the morning of, and this is so that you have a general idea of what the groups and the distribution will look like. Early morning departures. Those that have flights before noon will fall into the early morning departures. The ones that have are booked by Royal Caribbean and still are on our flights will receive their transfers to the north or south terminal at the airport. You will receive your passes to easily identify you outside. There will be a team outside to help with the transfer to the buses, with the loading of the luggage, etc., as well as travel arrangements for those that wish to depart early. Because of the uniqueness of the sailing, and because we don't want you to feel rushed at all, we have worked with our Customs and Border Patrol team to extend the departure up until 11 o'clock. So those that have later flights, those that are not in a rush, those that might be waiting to board another vessel, which we all know, they don't welcome you until 10:30 or 11 o'clock, will fall into the later departure time. So again, once you receive your paperwork on the 6th, verify if you're comfortable with your departure time and if we need to adjust it. This later departure is only for our Ultimate World Cruise guests. This is only an option that was extended to this group here. So if you are traveling right now, or if you do have family and friends on board because they came back to celebrate this momentous journey with you, unfortunately we cannot extend the later departure to any other guest on board. Please be aware of that. When you say, oh, I'm gonna sleep in on Miami morning, I'm gonna sleep in till 9 o'clock, then have breakfast, and then go ashore. It's not gonna work for everybody. It's only gonna work for you if it suits your travel plans. And with having said that, I'm at the end of my talk. I hope that I answered the majority of the questions that might have been floating out there, but I do have Kat and Sheena out in the aisles to answer any further questions. So please raise your hand if you do have one.
Okay, I'm just going to start at the back here.
What terminal are we coming in on Miami Day?
We're coming in at the same terminal that we departed from, Terminal G.
G is in George.
Question in the center.
Mine's actually a three-part question. First off, are you allowing world cruisers priority access to get off the ship early?
So if your travel plans require you to get off early, we'll make sure that you're assigned an early departure, but please come and see us so that we can help and ensure that you're assigned an early departure.
And do you know if there are going to be additional porters in Miami to help with all this luggage that we're all dragging off?
We have requested additional porters for assistance, absolutely.
Okay, and the last question is customs, because I know all my fellow world cruisers here have spent more than their $800 exemption. So is there going to, when are we clearing customs? Is it in Miami, and is there going to be any assistance with that, or is it just normal, just show up with your bags and your paperwork? And
So it is the normal process. You will be required to fill in customs paperwork if you exceeded your allowance. And we will make sure that we have customs forms available. And thank you very much for asking that question. I did not touch base on customs.
I have a question in the center over here. The question is, as we're doing immigration in New York, will we also be required to do the same immigration process in Miami when we return afterwards?
So thank you for that question. Yes, there will be a twofold immigration process. We're doing it in New York, and then we're doing it again in Miami. We have gone foreign in between.
Question on the starboard.
On luggage forward, should we get online and make reservations now, or will we be able to do that with the agent on board?
So for luggage forward, if you wish to use them, I would suggest that you go online now to make the reservations. The agent on board will also be able to assist you, but it is recommended to make your reservation at this time to ensure your spot. Sorry, I didn't hear, so Kat is coming back.
What, there's pickup place that we put in on the luggage forward. Where do we say that we're, for them to pick up the luggage?
Serenade of the Seas. So New York, you pick either New York or Miami, and that is the process through.
I have a question on the other side over here on the port side. The question is for those who purchased alcohol in our shops on board, or who purchased it and had it taken until the end of the world, when are they going to retrieve that?
The alcohol will be returned to you the night prior to arrival into Miami.
Question on the starboard.
For those of us that have independent pickup in Miami, like a livery service, when do we have to get the information to you to let you know what time the livery service is picking us up so that we get on the proper departure time?
If you have that information, we appreciate that information at any time that it's convenient to you. So if you want to put it on record with us at this time, by all means, go right ahead.
Do that through the app or go down to guest services?
You can also send us an email to the SR_documents, or feel free to stop by guest services at your convenience.
I'm over here on the port side.
Thanks. I'm not really sure how it works with the luggage, does Royal Caribbean search the luggage when it leaves the ship? And if so, is there anything we could do to kind of make sure fragile items wouldn't get unwrapped, for example?
So Royal Caribbean does not search your luggage. We will store we collect your luggage, we store your luggage and make sure that it gets offloaded. And if luggage is searched, that could be customs and the shoreside teams. But Royal Caribbean doesn't search your luggage.
Okay, I wondered about the 12-piece sterling set, so. Flatware.
Question here in the center.
For those of us that are using luggage forward in New York, do you still want us to let you know how many pieces we're taking off in addition to going through luggage forward?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Yes, please, because we want to make sure we will still collect your luggage, even though you're using luggage forward, because luggage forward does not collect your luggage on board. So thank you for that question. That helps me clarify something about luggage forward. For those that have signed up with luggage forward, they pick up your luggage after you cleared customs and immigration. So we pick it up on board, we get it off the ship, you collect it to claim it for customs and immigration, and then you hand it over to luggage forward. So please let us know how many pieces we can expect from you. And we work with luggage forward, so we know how much they're gonna ship, but we don't necessarily know for who and how much. Thank you very much for that question.
Okay, I have one on the port side here. With regards to luggage forward, is there a weight limit per item with luggage forward?
Unfortunately, I'm not the expertise on luggage forward, so for that type of question, I would like to invite you to the Q&A session on August 31st.
Question here on the starboard.
For those of us whose wives have been shopping for 9 months and have to rent a 7-passenger van, is there going to be extra carts and help in Miami? I'm not joking.
So first, I apologize that we organized a 9 months shopping spree. Yes, we have asked for additional porter assistance in Miami. Kat, right behind you.
Yeah, question here.
Yes, so my plan in New York was to actually take some suitcases home and bring them back empty. Are you saying I'm not going to be allowed to bring any luggage back that's empty back on the ship?
You are able to bring back empty luggage. You're just not able to take any luggage off after the processes are completed in the morning. So as long as you bring empty bags back, that's not a problem. I fully expect people also to go shopping for empty bags to take off in Miami. So you're perfectly fine with that.
Okay, I have a question over on the port side over here in the back. The question is, when we return to Miami, will there be a shore excursion to airport option for our World Cruise guests to have a tour going to the airport? Do we know with all the luggage that they'll have as well?
I need to come back to you on that question. Please make sure that one of the team members capture your stateroom number and we will come back to you with an answer to that question, because I'm not entirely sure if there's any shore excursions offered at this time. I owe you an answer on that one.
Question here.
I want to start off by saying thank you for everything the team has done to make this trip happen. I want to say thank you for all the great things that you have planned for the Ultimate World Cruisers. I'm asking though because we're still on vacation and I'd like to plan spa appointments. When are the details of those going to be out so that we don't miss them? Like times and things like that, so we can still plan our other fun stuff.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the compliment for the entire team on board. We are working hard to get that invitation out. My ask was to have this out by Friday. So either Friday or Saturday, you will have the timeline of all the events.
All right, just in this very center here. The question is for guests who have a tour in New York but are also doing luggage forward. How are they going to be able to go on their tour that is at about 8:30 meeting time to then go off, do their tour, do luggage forward also?
For those guests that have tours arranged in New York but also have luggage forward, I would like to ask that you identify yourself. We will work with the shore excursion team that you need to proceed ashore earlier to clear your luggage, to hand it over to luggage forward. They will be in New York from an early moment on, and that you meet your tour outside versus meeting the tour inside and proceed through immigration together. So thank you very much for a very valid question. For those that have tours that would normally depart from here to proceed through immigration, but also have a need to take luggage off, please ensure that we capture your cabin number so that we can work together with the shore excursion team. And I'll leave it open for one more question, and then for those that still have questions afterwards, the team is gonna be at the back of the theater for anything additional. Kat, I believe you had a last question.
For New York and Miami, do you know how long it'll take to get the luggage shipped to Los Angeles?
Unfortunately, I do not have any shipping timelines. If you're shipping with luggage forward, then please come and to the August 31st meeting. And with that, thank you very much, everybody, for being here.